Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. My name is Chris. And for today's video, I've been going through quite a bit of a shift lately, and especially today, that's what I woke up with. And why am I sharing this with you? Well, I feel like there's a little something that's going to come out of this, so I'm going to keep going. And what I woke up with is this daunting fear that this thing that I've been dreading for so long, it just came up to the surface, and that's what woke me up. I woke up from this dream where it felt like I was being locked out of my life, where I got an email saying that I was going to be locked out, that I was not going to have access to any sort of abundance, any sort of money, any sort of finances, that everything that was built around me, that all my, that everything that I've built, financially have built, was just going to be taken away, and I just was not going to have access to it. Now, that dream, it has two little variations of it, but what I feel like was coming through at that time was really to look at where I was at, how I was feeling, and how I was locking myself up in my ways, in my ideas, in my expansion to create, in my desire to create more, to have more, to be worthy of having more. And just a reality check that I've been indulging in a lot of these fears and limitations and all of these what ifs. And what was showing through was, sure, I can continue doing that, and this was exactly how I was going to feel, or or that if I continue on, I can change it, that it is possible for me to change it, or that even I have been putting in all the work, so it finally came up to the surface for me to finally once and for all deal with it and move through it and to create a different reality. That it wasn't going to be something that I am afraid of, that I was actively working on, actively changing. And because I was actively moving through it, it wasn't controlling my life, but allowing me to build myself to be that much more stronger, that much more abundant, that much more alive, that much more resilient. And that my power, my finances, it comes from within. It comes from within myself, and knowing that what I'm here to create, who I'm here to be, is truly, truly of my highest good and my highest abundance. That nothing that anyone says is going to change anything about me, but just allows me to grow with so much more reverence, with so much more life and bliss and joy, that I get to have an experience of something, of being with someone, because it's not that it scares me, but it's not that it scares me that I'm going to lose them or lose that thing that I've built, but just the fact that I get to live it and to honor the fact that I have lived it, and that I get to savor every single moment, that I get to meet myself right here and continue to grow, continue to build, continue to expand, continue to be just purely myself. And that I get to look at myself, to feel myself, to feel the aliveness from going within, and to know that everything that I have excavated, everything that I've played with, I don't have to keep playing the same doomsday story. That there is actually abundance, that there is actually a solution, that there is something that guides me to work through it, to move through it. That I'm not alone living this life, and that there is so much of life around me that moves just as much as I do. And so it was a reflection of where my limitations were, where my fears were, and that what if what I choose is going to end my life, is going to put me in a situation that I can't come back from. And the thing is, that's very much so the ego speaking. That's very much so this part of the self that feels like it's going to die, that it's going to not exist anymore. And to courageously move through this, where I get to let life move me, that it becomes not being afraid to die, but being afraid to live. I'm so afraid of dying that I'm so afraid of living. It equals out to that, and to move through that. I don't know who this is going to resonate with, and I hope it does. I hope that it lands in someone's ears. Um, but I'm gonna keep going. I feel like this is where the message is taking me, and so I'm gonna keep moving through this. But how much of your life and your experiences have you just been so afraid to live? Because what if you get rejected, or what if that someone tells you, you know what, it's not good enough, or yeah, I don't agree with you, I don't like what you see, I don't like what you're talking about, it doesn't make sense, it's um you know, it has no value. And you know what, that actually is probably true. It probably doesn't resonate with everyone. Your life, your ideas, they don't resonate with everyone. And yet it's something that you live and you experience. It doesn't make it any less true or real. And when you begin to feel and see the realness of who you are and what you express, what you experience, who you've been, you get to see that who you've been wasn't real. And so who you are now and who you choose to be now, it's just as unreal as it is real. It's real because you feel like it is real. And at the same time, it's not real, and it's elusive, and it's delusional because, well, for someone else, that's very much so what it is. And it's when you lean into this place when you say, you know what, forget it. I don't care what anyone else says and thinks. And I know that the way I experience and live in this abundance, live in life, to live life, to actually live life, to be alive, then to die, and then be alive again, to be reborn, right? To have the courage to do that over and over and over again. To have the courage to forget who you are and then to remember it. To remember who you are. You keep doing that. To move beyond the duality of life, and you just begin to live at that point. And it's just so fascinating at every turn that you take, how much of life that you get to have and how much you get to move through. And you wonder if the people that you've been around, if they're going to come along the journey with you or not. To a certain extent, they will, and at the same time, they won't. They won't hold the same space as they once did. And from here, you get to step into this next life, this next way of being, this next way of expressing, this next way of existing, existing more in who you are than you've ever been. And you get to live out another story. And the fears that you've had of if you will find that companion or those group of people, that community that lives life with you, that moves through life with you, you will. How, what, when, where, that stuff, no idea. That's not an answer that I can give you. It's not an answer that anyone can actually give you. However, it's an answer that does exist. And an answer that only comes to you when you continue to live life, when you continue to choose, when you continue to decide that this is where you're going, this is what you're going to try out, this is what you're going to play with. Then when you're ready to transition, you get to transition. But have the courage to do it. To live the full story of it, unapologetically, to live it, to live your life. You get to truly be you. And there is so much life available for you. There's so much abundance. There's so much creativity. And you know that. Go do it. Go live it. Go fail. Go succeed. Go do it. Go live those polarities. Go be human. Right? That's the human part of it. That's the ego part. Where you die and you live again. You fail and you succeed. It's this dualistic way. You can't ignore it. Sure, you can transcend it. The moment you transcend it, you're going to come right back. Why? Because you're human. At the end of the day, you're going to be living life because you are human. And so have the courage to live life, to be abundant, to be holy, to be whole. Right? Allow yourself to be whole. Let yourself be human for once. And then you get to surrender. And you know that from this space of emptiness, from the space of darkness, from the space of nothingness, from the space of silence, of pause, it's an invitation for you to create, for you to decide and choose. This is what I'm taking. This is where I'm going. This right here, oh my gosh, I would love to experience that. I would love to have that. The thing is, when you choose, when you decide, it shows up a little bit differently in your reality. In your mind, the way it's portrayed, it might be something completely magical and out of reach, out of touch. But what ends up happening is when it comes down to reality, you see that it's possible for you to have what it is. And it doesn't mean that you've destroyed your whole reality, that the people that you're around completely disappeared. No, none of that. It's just the way you interact with them changes, and the way they interact with you changes. You're in the very same place, but you have mastered what it's like to live that aspect of your life, to have that, to live the full extent of it, to not deny what's available and what's actually there, to not deny that you've received what you asked for, and you said, that's not what I asked for. To not deny it, but to accept it, full-heartedly accept what you've asked for. and to move through it, see what else is there for you to move through, what it's offering you. When something is ready to end, it will. It will naturally end. You don't even have to abruptly end it. It'll naturally shift and move away. You don't even have to, effort, put in any effort to it. It just happens. I know that's a bit of a hard concept to grasp onto. There has to be signs, and of course, you're gonna get those signs. But know that you're not stuck in the life that you're living. You're not stuck with where you are. Life continues to happen, life continues to move. You get to purely be you. You get to purely exist and excel. You get to purely love life. I know there is plenty more that is going to come through, but I am going to be leaving the message here. And I really hope that there is something from this that replenished you, or that just gave you that little reminder or confirmation of where you are. And I hope that this encourages you to continue to live through your life, to actually have the courage to move through the polarities, the extremes, and to really embody and love who you are in this time, in this moment. And so, with that, I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.